Welcome to TheoTrade. This is Don Kaufman. It's April 11th, 2018. About 10 minutes left in today's trading session. S&P futures right now are down about 12 handles. The FOMC minutes came out today, and well, for the most part, they just came and went. Not a whole lot of action on an intraday basis with regards to Jerome Powell and the FOMC minutes. Nevertheless, markets feel relatively heavy coming into today's close, and really in the overnight session. Well, first of all, they touched down to 26.26. If you guys will remember, I've talked extensively, specifically about that particular level. It couldn't be any cleaner than 26.26 because ultimately that's the level. But let's take it away from some of the overnight trade. Let's take it away from some of the intraday trade. This is the trade now that we've seen inside of about the last 2 weeks. And again, the last 2 weeks, all we're doing right now is pinging between these levels. Now, for those of you, again, I've been talking about it on roughly a day-to-day basis, but these levels happen to be 26.82. There's 26.26. Down below over here is 25.75. Earlier this week, I had stated, it's a pretty good shot. We're going to take that move down to 25.75 and even then some. And I still believe that that is probably in effect. In fact, kind of the game plan for this week is we were looking for a bit of a rally early in the week and looking for some sell-side activity hit as the week progressed. And I am still of that belief. Again, today, this is fairly mild versus some of the previous trading sessions we've seen. And before I get to some specific trades, I just want to give you a little bit of a orientation of where we happen to be on the week as a whole. All I'm looking at here, and I'm going to kind of box it in for you, this happens to be this week, and the box represents the expected move. Now, coming in to the beginning of this week, the expected move was set right at about $68, and that means the SPX was poised to move $68 higher or lower. Again, this central line right here, this is exactly where we started the week. So we exploded, from 2,600, we exploded to the upside on the week, got right up here at about 2,660. Today we're fading, again, back to the 2,640 kind of marker. Now what I would anticipate for the remainder of the week is some sell-side activity. I want to go back to the futures for a second. I'm a little bit, a little surprised, maybe even a little perplexed. I had anticipated us not to just rally this week, but I fully anticipated us to get as high as that 26.82. At this point in time, again, seeing some sell-side activity over here, you really have to kind of back away from some of just the intraday trade and think to yourself, this marketplace happens to be it's in a bit of trouble right now. And you have some key and marquee underlyings that are under pressure today. Specifically, to kind of point out, today happens to be the financials, which are off by a full 1%. I'll remind you that we just talked about doing trades recently inside of Morgan Stanley. I do have a bearish position inside of Morgan Stanley, which is getting whacked a little bit today. Nevertheless, some bearish moves inside of the financials. And the reason I point this out and say, this is a little bit ominous. This trade over here is, again, it's indicative of volatility, but what's it really, to me, kind of indicative of, the financials can't get out of their own way at this point and are very likely to succumb to sell-side activity. The financials go, the S&Ps are going to go with it. And a lot of that has to do with what's going on inside of the bond markets. The bonds, and I've been mentioning this in the weekend updates, have been rallying to the upside. We're seeing much of the same today. But the bonds also feel like they're about to break possibly to the upside, a little bit of a breakout to the upside in bonds, which would not only pressure the XLF, but of course cause pressure back to the S&Ps. Now, switch gears a little bit. So I've kind of stated what I think is going to happen for the remainder of the week. The S&Ps, again, starting to test into some lows. As far off as it might seem, like I wouldn't be shocked at all to see us come back right back down to this 25.75, possibly even test through that. I recognize it looks a long way away. But this week, we haven't seen some of the vicious moves that we've seen in the previous 3 to 4 weeks. Anyway, let's go on to some individual trades, because in the midst of some of the rally today, and I'm going to actually bring up now a few of the underlyings that I'm looking to build trades. And, I'll start with Boeing in this case, because I was able to execute into a trade in Boeing yesterday. So Boeing today is down about $7.50. Now I want to clarify something in Boeing. We're going to cruise over to the chart, and I'm going to bring up, again, a much longer duration. I've talked about Boeing pretty much till we're blue in the face here at TheoTrade. I'm bearish on Boeing, but the bearish on Boeing is not bearish for the next week or two. It's not bearish for the next month or two. It's bearish to the point where the underlying is trading in the 330 kind of handle, and that we believe that there could ultimately be up to $100 plus of downside, inside of Boeing. So in essence, I'm looking for a longer duration position. Now, you and I both know that going out and shorting, if you want to go out and short a $330 stock, good for you, but that's a lot of margin. And some of us also trade inside of an IRA, retirement account, but it's a huge amount of margin, even if you're outside of an IRA. Nevertheless, what I have done, I'm actually using an in-the-money put. I'm using an in-the-money put as a short stock replacement. There it is, the 380 puts. Now, I bought those 380 puts in and around the $50 mark. They've actually pumped up to $56 today, but I just wanted everybody to know I'm in it. And by the way, this trade is not just between now and June. If Boeing sees some sell-side activity, I'm likely to roll this trade out longer in duration. Again, I fully anticipate wanting and needing to be short Boeing for the foreseeable future. That could be months, year. I think there's some great opportunity to the downside. Not enough people are looking to the downside right now. Yeah, next we'll bring up Micron. Now, Micron, I'll zoom in a little tighter. Micron is a shorter duration. This one is more of a trade. And that trade, I've actually gone ahead and put a bearish trade on Micron. Micron's been seeing some pretty strong sell-side activity. I've been waiting ever so patiently for a bounce. I got it. The bounce, though, faded later in the day. And this is the type of trade. I'm not sure you'd be able to place the exact same trade, because you can see I'm even trying to work some more contracts here. The trade, though, that I have placed at this point happens to be a 52.5 50 put spread. Now, you got to get this trade for under $1.25. Now, if you look at the current price is trading about $1.34. If you're going to buy a 250 wide spread, you got to do it for $1.25 or less. Nevertheless, I did execute into a bearish trade on Micron. As I was saying, just about 2 minutes left to the close over here. The S&Ps are slipping a little bit. Everything that you're seeing on the screen right now has a lot to do with the financials, which are down 1.2%. As I stated, I would expect some sell-side activity, barring any unforeseen tweets, of course. I think we'll see some sell-side activity to the marketplace. Nevertheless, some of those tweets could cause some sell-side activity. I want to thank everybody for joining us here at TheoTrade. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.